Welcome back to the Map for College Learning Community. My name is Ernest Manelli, founder of My Action Plan for College. And our video today will focus on what to do when you get deferred or if you get deferred. So, for example, let's say you apply early decision, which is binding, or early action, which still gives you the autonomy to choose. Let's say you apply early to a college and you get a notice of deferral that your application has been deferred and continued onward into the regular application pool. Now, some students will view this as a setback. I view it as an opportunity because sometimes the difference between getting denied and getting deferred might be the level of detail that you went into in your application, the way that you crafted your narrative, the ability for the admissions officer to extrapolate and predict, make a reasonable prognostication about your potential. And one of the main reasons why students may get deferred in many instances could be simply because the admission staff wants a bigger sample size. So let's say you started high school off and maybe some elements of ninth and or 10th grade, maybe certain courses didn't work as well as you thought they would. Maybe some of your study habits weren't fully formed until you reached a certain age of maturity. But in any case, if you're an admissions officer reading a transcript and analyzing an admissions file, you may see a pattern of improvement and you may want to see a little bit more of a track record. In other words, you might want to see that same student who turned things around at a certain point early on in high school. Maybe the light of inspiration sort of struck. Or even for the high performing students who are high performing all along the way, maybe because of the variety of coursework that you're taking in 12th grade, maybe you are taking the bulk of your advanced placement courses during 12th grade. Well, since the advanced placement courses represent some of the best predictors in terms of a student's ability in high school to then make the future transition to college level work for freshman year and beyond. If you look at it from that perspective, let's say you've taken one or two APs in 11th grade, but you're taking like two or three in 12th grade. Well, the admissions officer simply might want to see, instead of just seeing your track record for the first quarter of the year, they might want to see your track record for the first 2 quarters of the year, plus the progress report for the third quarter. So when you think of it from that perspective, they're just trying to gain additional information, additional insight, and they're trying to see who is really in it to win it, like who is in this for the long term, because there are certain people who click submit on the application button for the Common App, and then they go into a little bit of cruise control. One of my old baseball coaches would say they were kind of Cadillacing it, just like taking things a little too casually. Schools don't want to see that because they want you to have positive momentum going into the college experience. And, of course, you want to enjoy the experience of being in high school. You want to have that social time and that balance between academics and activities and your own personal time. But at the same time, you're preparing for a potential career pathway. You're preparing for further solidifying the foundation of your academic future. So, what to do if you get deferred? Now, the number one thing that I would advise not to do. So, when students get deferred, when Johnny or Susie gets deferred, usually mom or dad will want to pick up the phone or send an email to admissions and say, "Why didn't my Johnny or Susie get in?" And to tell you the truth, I'm a parent. Parents are wonderful. This is one of those times when the parents just have to stand back and say, "Hey, would you like to go off a pizza? Or let's go to the movies this weekend. Take your mind off the admissions game." I would recommend that all contact, if you get deferred, all contact be from the student. Because when you get to be a freshman in college, I was telling a student this recently. I was recently hearing back from a member of the class 2022, and I was hearing back only from the parents for about a 3, 4 week period of time. And it was during the crunch of the admission season. And, I'd already read the student's common application main essay and some of the supplements, but I was getting concerned. And at one point, I joked with the family because I know them socially. I said, your daughter is not going to have an executive secretary in the dorm confirming her appointments and arranging her academic schedule when she gets to be a freshman in college. In other words, the student has to take that ownership, you know? That's central. So if you as a student, if you wish to take proactive steps once being deferred, this is what I would suggest. First of all, keep your good study habits in place. Everything that's good that you're currently doing, keep it in place and augment it further if you can. Keep the good study habits, keep the consistent study habits, keep the regular constructive sleep schedule. Try to keep as many positive elements moving forward as you can. Maintain and improve upon your performance in your subject areas. Try to be the best student that you can be. Try to have that sense of balance. Now, of course, I'm not recommending anything that's like a reinvention of the wheel. Here's where I would give specific nitty gritty details about the admissions process. I think it would be wonderful, even if you get deferred, I think it would be wonderful to circle back and make contact with anyone who has been supporting your cause up to that point. Could be the admissions representative from that college that is reading your file and that has taken an interest and that you may have had contact with either by phone or by email, or you may have even, some people even get the chance to meet their admissions representatives during a campus visit. I know I did. That made a big difference for me. So circle back with the loop of communication with the admission staff if you already have prior dialogue established. And then also, if anyone helped out or conducted alumni interviews along the way, or if you yourself pursued informational interviews where you spoke with someone from the alumni community or spoke with, maybe had email contact with a professor or an activities director, just give them the courtesy of an email or a phone call or even snail mail. Send them a good old fashioned postage stamp and just communicate and let them know that you're still very interested. You're keeping a positive mental approach. You view this as a positive thing. Like, just be upbeat, be positive, and be polite and courteous. That goes a long way. And I would also redouble your efforts during the second half of the year and before you find out the full scope and sequence of your admissions decisions. I would build in some time each week to start looking for locally sourced scholarships. And we have another video about ways and approaches and strategies for locally sourced scholarships. But I would start to look into building that skill set, because that's something you can do that is constructive engagement, and it won't let your mind wander into that what if and what's going to happen. Let's face it, even the most qualified applicants will be accepted by some schools, rejected by others, potentially even waitlisted. That's the other thing. If you get deferred, there is a probability that you could eventually be waitlisted. So you really have to, as they say in track, you have to run through the finish line tape. Keep up the progress, keep up the good work, keep up your momentum. And anytime you have contact with someone from admissions, someone from financial aid, if you have an alumni interview opportunity, take advantage of those opportunities. Take advantage of those communication patterns to present yourself in a positive light. So once again, my name is Ernest Manelli, founder of My Action Plan for College. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our growing YouTube channel. Please spread the word about our educational content. We have more great educational programming to come. Thank you so much.